Do they still do jock jams?
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
don't think so.
In some
But wasn't
corner
now-
of fucking
now
Malaysia
now
or
this
some
is music?
shit.
They still they still do the kids
Jock
music
is
shit.
a trigger word anyway.
Shit is a trigger word.
Yeah.
One of our fucking failed office managers, one of the words I told my boss was the trigger word was easy. And it's like, it's
What?
easy to do. Like, you got to just do this every time, you know, and it's real easy. And you'd be like, she's like, that's a trigger word.
Oh my
Are you fucking kidding me?
god.
He said that? Yeah, I would have been like, you're fired.
She said that. Too.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
You're fired.
So in her
Just get
mind,
the
it was
fuck out.
just
You're
like,
fired. I don't
My
even-
whiskey.
hey, it's real. I'm gonna fucking rape you.
Right? Like what?
Like, what is easy? Come on.
Yeah, that's just a simple
Was it-
word. It's
Right.
not like he called her cunt.
Right.
Like, you know,
Was it-
that's a trigger word.
You know, Family Guy. They had that guy in the office who was the social guy, social media guy, and he's like he's like, first off, a little bit about me. I have a lot of trigger words. Actually, trigger word is a trigger word of mine.
Oh, I do remember that. Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. Or maybe it was The Simpsons, but yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Yeah, we have one of those. I don't even know, but non-binary. They go by they.
That's hard to remember.
Its name is Anastasia, but it's a guy. You know what I
Not
mean?
really.
Type of things. Yeah. Whatever. I don't judge. Nice
Dude,
person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, they won't correct you if you say he. You know
Oh,
what
really?
I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he's fucking logical. He's an
Right,
engineer.
exactly.
He understands that, like, I look like a dude right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like whatever. But like,
Dude, we
you
had-
know, it's fine.
We had this chick that worked with us, and she was a lesbian, and she talked about it. I was like, cool. And then her partner came in. I was like, hey, I met your girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. She's pretty cool. Well, she's non-binary. She goes by they. And I was like, we're not going to be friends. It's like, we're not going to be friends.
They will not be my friend.
I'm like, she didn't say anything when I called her. I made like women comments or something.
Well,
Yeah, and that's like, sometimes I feel like that's what it is. Like, the people don't give a fuck. It's all the other like loudmouth idiots.
well, that's what they say.
You know?
It's not so much not so much the general trans community. It's the trans activists who get real fucking.
Right.
Right.
It's like they want to do that. Like, see, you did it wrong.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You're a fucking bigot. You fucking bigot.
I am. I really am. I love it too.
I wish someone would call me that. Just go, and
Yeah, right.
we're all bigots. I don't give a fuck how
Mhm.
fucking open you think you are. Fuck out of here.
Mhm.
Yeah, you see me walking down the street in a hoodie, you can cross the street. But I'm a nice guy.
Exactly.
You're being
Exactly.
bigoted.
That's what I'm
You're
saying.
being bigoted in my bigotedness.
Don't give me
And-
that
and that's-
bullshit.
And
You
that's
know
not
damn
being
well-
and that's not being bigoted. I was gonna rob you and your girl. It's just in my blood. I have to do it.
And to be fair, I would do the
Right.
same thing,
It's
and
a
I'm a
predator child.
So
Are we live? Did I get to say
Yeah,
that live?
we've been live.
We've been live. Why is my
Yeah.
thing not fucking showing?
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
just
fucking know.
talking
I'm refreshing. All right, sorry, your ashtray's fucking
talking
thinking.
some shit.
Goddamn shit. Just here we are. Of course, it's an ashtray episode. Would be
Well, obvious.
fucking
Obviously.
bad. All right. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about them great goddamn lakes and their many disasters. The regular Red Eye Shipwrecks with us every week are SS Muffin Top Mystic, delivering nothing but sugar-free advice of go fuck yourself.
Mhm.
We got Tugboat Teddy, who never charged a white captain less than double. Followed up by Outrigger Oracle in his Dick Canoe.
Dick canoe.
Just look up lateral support cocks, ladies. That's all I'm saying. And
I'm
I,
gonna look it up.
Yeah.
they're actually called lateral support floats, but imagine cocks.
Okay,
get my
let's
point.
bring this up. Lateral
Put the image up on.
support floats.
And I'm Ark of the Ashtray, where I took one of every animal, insect, and life form on this earth aboard,
those things.
fucked them in the face.
I was gonna say
This is a Red Eye report.
Jesus.
What do these
Did you
things
find
have?
the,
Yeah. What does this have to do with?
They stabilize.
dicks?
Now imagine the You have an outrigger cock dick canoe, so you got lateral support cocks.
Those
saying,
are called
ladies.
genital warts, okay? Get it right. Fucking educate yourself.
Speaking of genital warts, you ever go get tested, Ashtray?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
Not,
I just care about-
It ain't itching.
Nothing itching. Nothing
It ain't
burns,
itching.
Nothing's growing yet. Nothing's scaly.
That's a good sign.
All right.
It ain't itching. Why pay the copay? You know what I mean?
Right. This week's Dane County Humane Society Pet of the Week is Gordy Lightpaws. Is an American long-haired cat whose paws were burned off when it chased the laser pointer into the fireplace.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Fucking dumbass Gordy Lightfoot.
So its paws were burned off?
No, just singed.
Oh, sick.
Okay.
I
was
think it'll be all right.
it
Oh,
nubby?
okay.
I thought it was a nubby thing. So
He's a long-haired cat, but his paws are singed. Down to the skin. Old dumbass Gordy. All right. On that note, I'll get do a little shot with Teddy.
word.
Now, the Great Lakes. Let's see some stats here. 95,000 square miles of surface area. You bring up that old map there. We've all seen them before. Why? Because we grew up near them. But
Yep.
they are also a fifth of the world's freshwater supply.
Damn.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Just to give you a sense. Superior's a mutt. I didn't realize just how, you're looking at the map, it doesn't, it looks like the biggest, but I didn't realize just how big Superior is to the rest of them. Superior is 2,900 cubic miles of water volume, whereas like Michigan is 1,180. So that's 2,900 compared to 1,180.
And is that including like all the depth and everything too?
Yeah, that's like all the volume of water, size wise. So like
Superior is the largest freshwater lake, right?
Yep. Actually, it is not the it's not the largest in the world. Actually, if you go down just below that map there, that's why I included this one because I was just like, what the fuck is that? Look at that lake.
Jesus
Baikal.
Christ.
That's in Russia. Look at that compared
Of
to
course
Superior
that's
right
in
next to it.
fucking Russia.
Look in fucking Long Dong, Russia. It's
They're
like
fucking
way
it
up
up.
higher too in the elevation, like 5,000. But look how deep that fucker goes.
Wow.
Who knows what lives under?
That is nuts. Fucking Nessie's down there.
Yeah. So, yeah, Superior was 2,900 cubic miles. Michigan was 1,180. Huron, 850. Erie, only 116. And Ontario was 393.
Doesn't Minnesota have like 10,000 lakes or something?
Yes, but none of them are as great as the old Lake Superior, which it does border. So, the thing is, I didn't realize this, was that the waves are actually harder on vessels in the Great Lakes than they are in the ocean.
Really?
Really?
There's a difference.
Jinx.
What they call the chop. I mean, I've heard waves being called chop, but I didn't realize the chop is actually because of it being a lake, whereas like the oceans are so wide that the waves can really flow in one, long lateral pattern. Whereas the lakes, the waves travel, but they're always bouncing off the side of the lakes
And coming back.
and bouncing off other waves. And so it's this continuous choppy wave. So boats are getting hit in kind of all unpredictable sides. Over the last 200 years, they estimate over 6,000 vessels have sunk in the Great Lakes.
Damn.
And over 30,000 lives been lost. Often through what they call the November Witch, which basically is any of the storms that happen in November.
Drowning?
What's that?
Is that just a long term for drowning?
No, it's just the fact that any storm is in November. So one of the early real big fuckers was the November Witch of 1913. We had the old this vessel called the Regina. It's a small freighter of about 250 feet. They describe it as like, think of it like a UPS truck back then, where it was small enough for the smaller port cities. It would hit the big ports like Superior, and then take supplies to the smaller ports. Captain Edward McConkey, old fucking Conky. Conky was only 34 years old. He was like
That's
one of the
captain
youngest.
name for you right there.
One of the youngest captains, this Canadian, and he maintained a meticulous diary. And
My
fucking
name's
November 7th,
McConkey.
my name's McConkey, and I sailed again today. This storm lasted. So it started on the 7th with 50-mile-per-hour winds, 20-foot waves. But his ship, it's like, oh, fucking made of steel, right? It's 1913, fucking taking on the world. Well, next day, the fucking storm continues. There was one vessel called the Leafield, was basically thrown up against a rocky shore, fucking ripped its hull open, and then the waves kept battering it. Before the people could get off the ship, fucking sucked it right back out and sank.
Damn.
18 crew members all died.
Fucking bitches.
By November 9th, so this is the Regina hasn't even been hit by the storm, because this storm started, if you look at that map up there, it's hitting Lake Superior. In 1913, there was no Weather Channel. You know, so they were down in like Detroit, Windsor area, going to go up through Lake Huron. And then it was just as they were leaving out that they got hit by 100-mile-per-hour winds and 30-foot chop waves. And they're going like full speed, and we're barely like, that's the thing, is these ships will go as fast as they can because they're fighting the wind, and they're barely making any ground. And then they're also getting hammered by those waves. The cargo shifted in the boat, and it started listing. And it's just like, abandoned ship, fucking got everybody in they could in the lifeboat, and this poor bastard just had to go down with the ship. It's like, I wonder today how many captains actually go down with the ship. Like back then, it was just like he took his diary, he zipped it up in his coat, and just like, and they took. So that was the 9th. They got hit by the storm. Started on the 7th. On November 9th, the Regina was hit. This is one of many boats. The storm continued on to the November 12th, and one lifeboat launched off the Regina. 3 dead bodies were in it, and it washed up on shore. The captain didn't wash up on shore till the following summer. And at the end of it, there was 12. So, like, you have to think, too, at the time, it was all telegram wire. And so just like when phone wires would get knocked down pre-cell phone era during a storm, you know, you'd have to wait for the telephone or lines to get hooked up. People didn't realize just how bad this storm was till like days later. And it turned out 12 vessels in whole were lost completely, where all hands on deck were killed.
Wow.
25 other vessels, additional vessels, were wrecked or damaged in some way. Total of 273 people died.
Holy shit.
On all these different boats, and that they were then washing ashore. So like people who lived on the beaches were finding dead bodies wash up.
And you said the captain washed up like the following summer. So and the storm happened in November. I mean.
Oh yeah. So like some of these initial bodies that were washing up, they were like washed up, and they were covered in ice. They were like frozen capsules.
Oh wow.
So then we fast forward to 62 years later from the 1913 storm, fucking November 9th again. The Edmund Fitzgerald, cure the old Gordy light paws. Meow, 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 meow. So the Edmund Fitzgerald was a 729-foot big fucker. It was had a crew of 29. It was launched in 1958. It was a big fucking deal. Oracle can look up a picture. I forgot to put one in what it looked like
What was it?
before it was crashed on the ocean floor. It was a freighter.
Oh, I thought you said frigate.
It was at the time of its launch the largest vessel on the Great Lakes in 1958.
It says 700 feet, right?
729 feet.
Okay.
And it had, so at the time of its sinking, it was no longer, so this was good, like almost 20 years later, 18 years later. They're saying like it was still, in its prime. It had updated equipment. So it did have, 2 radar systems on it. It was run by Captain Ernest McSurley. He had 44 years of experience on the lake. First mate Jack McCarthy, he had 40 years. And then Watchman, this documentary, I don't know why they had to mention this because I'm like waiting for some follow-up to make the sense, but they call it, and Watchman, Handsome Ransom Candy.
What? Wow.
His name was Ransom Candy, but his nickname was Handsome Ransom. He just looks like a total fucking old town mechanic, with overalls. It's like my grandfather. Anyways, fucking Handsome Ransom was on there too. So it left Superior, Wisconsin on the November 9th. This is the last run. And that's the thing too, was like, I didn't realize this either, that just how like shipping in general just stops completely by November, or at the end of November. Because the lakes freeze over that much.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That there just is no more cargo shipping. And so this was like the last, you got to get that last fucking contract in. And the weather seemed fine. Starts taking off. You can see that kind of map down there that shows its path. And it met up with the Arthur M. Anderson, which was a smaller, not that much smaller, similar kind of freighter. So the Fitzgerald had 26,000 tons of iron ore taconite pellets. Just think of it just like those round fucking iron balls, just big cargo bays full of iron
Yeah,
pellets.
that's not great for
you mean
weight.
sinking pellets?
Yeah.
Yeah, for weight and
Yeah.
to keep stable distribute. It's not like something that's solid and strapped down. It's
Right.
It's like fucking iron balls.
Yeah.
And they're usually about an inch in diameter. So they're going through, storm's coming. We've been through this before, no problem, blah blah blah. They and the Fitzgerald was about 15 minutes ahead of the Anderson, and you can see the path. They're in radio contact with each other, and they decided we're gonna go further, north, which is a longer route, but it's usually considered safer in the weather like that. And as they're going through, you can see these 2 islands here. Is what's it pronounced? Michoacan Island and the Caribou Island. There's a place they call the Shallows. Before they get even there, fucking the storm takes out both radars on the Fitzgerald. So, and it's also, while this storm's happening, it's snowing, like snow squalls are coming, and they can't fucking see.
Especially the lake effect. Yeah, on the lake.
Yeah, lake effect snow. You can't see, but they got the radar, and so the Anderson was watching the Fitzgerald, but the Fitzgerald was like 15 minutes ahead of it. But by 4 p.m., the winds got up to 100 miles an hour, and she radioed back to the Anderson that she was taking on a list. And one thing that
how many degrees did they say?
I cannot remember what it said, but one thing that they pointed out was that this design of the Edmund Fitzgerald was, you think these cargo ships, right? They're kind of like they're a big rectangle. They're not like a V shape really. They're kind of flat on the bottom,
like a barge. Yeah.
The problem is that often those kind of containers would have water pumps along both corners of that bottom of the trough of the cargo container. Well, the Fitzgerald was designed with just a center one. So in theory, if it starts listing a little bit this way, any water that isn't up to that center point
Right.
can't get pumped
be
out.
pumped out. Yeah.
And that could have played a factor because he did radio to the Anderson. Like, I'm starting to take on a list. I've got no radar. And they're just trying to get, at this point, you can look down right below that map. Like, this is how far away help was. You can see there was, let's see here. There was the closest Coast Guard boat that would be able to actually weather that kind of storm was in Duluth, a day away. And there were helicopters that could have gotten there, but they're all the way in Traverse City. So it would have taken 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, the winds were 100 miles an hour. Trying to rescue in a helicopter over a lake where you can't see with all the snow.
Exactly.
I mean, that would have been treacherous anyway.
So their only hope was to make it to Whitefish Bay. You can see on that map back up there. Whitefish Point.
So I don't know. I would think like if I can't go any further, why not like put the anchor down and stop and see we can't fucking.
Well, it's like you can't really. I don't think you can really put an anchor down when it's that treacherous.
That treacherous? Okay.
And it's just kind of like
I'm not a ship guy.
Usually, what it is like they kind of say is like you have to try to get to your nearest point of safe harbor, but also when you're a big fucker like the Edmund Fitzgerald, there's only so many harbors you can actually. So their hope was to at least get to Whitefish Bay, which is just around Whitefish Point there, and maybe beach the ship at the worst. But so they had no radar. Oh, and then also at the same time at Whitefish Point, you see that point on the map there. A power outage took out the lighthouse and their radio beacon.
Wow.
Shit.
Yeah.
So they got no radar.
No radar. There's no more lighthouse. There's no radio beacon there.
Radio. Shit.
And the point between, I was talking earlier about the shallows, and this is how it's like no one really knows exactly for sure how it sank, because one theory, and the captain of the Anderson who was following them believes this is possible because on their radar, they're trying to be the guiding eyes for them, and they radioed that like, hey, it looks like you're getting too close to the shallows of Caribou Island. And then theory, like when you start getting these waves, sometimes the trough can get real low, and the shallows, like it may have hit bottom, not super hard because they're already getting banged around so much.
Mm-hmm.
The captain may not have noticed, but it could have caused some leaking for it to start taking on more water. Anyway, so by this time a snow squall set in. At 7:10 was the last radio message. The captain of the Anderson too is talking about how, like, as a captain, like when you have these moments where it gets real like rough like that, he's like, you can't show any fear to your crew because your crew's already worried because your crew's been out here.
Oh, we're fucked. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, right. But you can't show any fear to your crew. You white knuckle it yourself. And he's like, and we kind of like to believe our ships are invincible. And so the last word the captain said was, they basically asked like, well, how are you doing your little problem? Because he was saying how they were taking on water and they had no radar. And they had a slight list. And his reply was, we're holding our own. And they were like 17 miles from getting to Whitefish Bay. And at 7:25, Anderson lost radar contact. There was no mayday, no distress call. By 8:25, Captain Cooper of the Anderson, who was the one that was watching them on radar from behind, reported them to the Coast Guard that they're missing. And by 8:45, the Anderson made it to the Whitefish Bay. And then after finally they're out with their watchmen like looking for any sign of the Fitzgerald and couldn't see anything.
So what kind of ship was the Anderson?
What's that?
What kind of ship was the Anderson?
The Anderson was a similar kind of freighter like the Fitzgerald, not as big.
But did it have the bilge pump in the middle like the other one did, or was it on the?
I don't know what kind of pumps it had per se.
Okay, because it's kind of weird they're the same kind of ship and one made it and the other one didn't.
Yeah, so the
sounded like somebody fired on the other ship from behind.
The Coast Guard, yeah, right. So anyways, the Coast Guard then, because Coast Guard's like, well, we can't fucking get there. Like, could you guys go? They even have recordings of this still. Like, can you go out there and take a look for him?
What the fuck?
Because
You're the
and the guy's
fucking
like,
Coast
man.
Guard.
Coast Guard.
Yeah.
They're guarding the coast. What do you want them to do? Okay.
He's like, no, the Coast Guard's asking the Anderson, who just finally made it to safety.
Yeah.
Hey, can you go back out there and look for him?
That's such bullshit, man.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
like,
right.
oh man,
Fuck
he's like,
that.
I don't know, that sea is rough out there, and it ended up, the captain of the Anderson and another freighter vessel called the William Clay Ford both decided to go back out into that storm to try to see if they could find him, and they didn't find anything.
And they both made it
that's
back.
like fucking. I mean, it's kind of the captain said it. He's like, asked his crew, and he kind of be like, I would know if I would want someone looking for my family sake.
But it's just weird. It's just it doesn't seem when everybody else is like that ship made it and they went back out with another ship and to look for him.
Well, and he said, he even told the Coast Guard operator, he's like, we're looking for one ship that could be on the bottom, and we could have two. Anyways, all they found was a mutilated lifeboat that was like kind of ripped right down the front, and an oil-covered life ring. And by November 13th, they suspended the search for the crew members as far as like rescuing anyone. And then the next day, they actually found the ship with a radar, Navy radar, about 17 miles from Whitefish Bay, from safety. There's questions still of why it went down. One theory is, and this is kind of the main like Coast Guard theory, is the possibility of faulty hatches. So you see like on the picture of the Fitzgerald, like the top of it had those like big rectangle lids. Those were overdue for maintenance. And if they aren't sealed properly, when you're getting hit by 30-foot waves continuously, that water is leaking into those seals or those hatches, and then it's getting just mixed right in with those pellets of iron ore.
You mean the sink pellets?
Yeah, those taconite pellets are called.
Oh, I'm calling them sink pellets because you're transporting sink pellets.
I don't know what a sink pellet is.
It's a joke. They're carrying all that weight in pellet form.
It's a
makes
pellet
it
that's
easier
gonna
for them
sink
to
the
sink.
fucking ship.
That's why we call it sink pellets.
Oh, finally went over, came back around at you. I said, thank you, Teddy. All right, that was one theory, is that they just slowly sank because the pumps couldn't keep up with the amount of water that was coming in, and they were just getting lower and lower. The other theory is the Caribou Shallows, which was the one I talked earlier about the captain of the Anderson, believing is what happened, because there's radar showed how close he was getting to that area. The theory is that the bottom scraped on the shallows, damaged the hull.
Did it say how deep the shallows were?
I think the shallows, I think, can get as shallow as 40 feet deep.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
now,
that's pretty
it is in like
for a big ass ship like that.
It was found in about 500 foot of water.
Damn.
Now, if you think about it, though, that ship is 700 and.
Oh yeah, that thing's got to go
feet.
down at least 20 feet normally, right?
Right, as far as sink, how much it displaces water for sure. But yeah, it's 729 feet. So that's one thing I think is that there's also the debate of whether it broke on the top, on the surface, which if it bottomed out at the shallows, it's very well. If it was damaged in the middle, a fucking rogue wave, which we'll show some videos here in a moment.
So what was the
where like they possibly a term they call the Three Sisters, where like the waves hit it just right that it just snapped that fucker right in half.
Let's look at some fucking rogue waves.
So was the Anderson, was it carrying the same cargo that the
I don't know what the Anderson was carrying, but probably not, because it left from a different port. They just met on the way because they're both going the same direction during a storm.
Okay, gotcha.
So watch that first one there.
Is that the rogue wave?
This is a simulation basically using the data from a buoy, but this will show you, it kind of gives you a better idea, because sometimes when you're watching the videos from the freighters, they don't look as crazy as this actually shows. So you'll see this buoy kind of riding these waves, and this term called, or at least this maritime sailors call Three
Whoa.
Sisters. And it's that due to that
Whoa.
chop, what they call, because the I know, right? I was
Holy
like, holy
fucking
fuck.
shit.
And this is on a
Jesus
lake?
Christ.
Yeah,
Holy fuck.
I
Damn.
know. Imagine being in a boat
My
like
Damn.
that.
God.
That is that'd be terrifying.
Right?
And imagine how much damage or how much stress it's putting on a big freighter.
Yeah.
So the Three Sisters is kind of like where you get hit, you get lifted by one wave, a second wave comes underneath the first wave, and then the third one, kind of like that compounding like trampoline effect when you have friends bounce you, like whoom, can like really fuck a ship up. The next two videos are from actual like the perspective of a captain of a this one looks like the Edmund Fitzgerald, and you can kind of see those hatches there, and this gives you a good idea of how, like, if those hatches were leaking in the Edmund Fitzgerald, no wonder it sank. That's one of with the theory too that the theory that the I know, right? It almost makes me sick to my stomach.
Oh, I've seen this video.
The theory that it sank, or that it just slowly, lost buoyancy, is that maybe one of these big waves came and it pushed, it like punched into the wave, but its buoyancy level finally was so low that it just like dove into the wave straight down, and then it hit, because it's 720 feet long, but it was only 500 feet to hit the bottom. So it hit the bottom, and then the back end twisted, broke. And because they are like 200 yards away from each other, so not too far apart, but anyways, there's one more of those big fucker waves. This one is gnarly. So anyways, on July 4th, 1995, the family members were getting kind of irked because all these people were going to dive down to the Edmund Fitzgerald and fucking check it out. And so I don't know if they really were able to get like a law or something saying you can't go down there, but I think now it's like you've got to get permission from the families future. But what they did in 1995, on the 4th of July, they went down and took out the ship's bell and brought it up for the family. And then they like restored it and put their names on it. And it's in like the Maritime Museum at Whitefish Point.
Why does that guy in the dive suit look like he's like screaming like in... It's like, oh, look, get me out of here. There's fucking aliens.
There's something down here.
Yeah,
right? God, get me out of here.
Fucking Gordon Lightfoot's got me by the ankle.
What the hell's going on?
There's something down here.
Gordon Lightfoot warned me about creeping around his back door. Oh no!
Something licked me in the knee.
And to round out just a few other fucking shipwrecks on the fucking Great Lakes. There was the Row Simmons, which was nicknamed the Christmas tree ship. I don't know why. Maybe they brought Christmas trees down from Canada. But back in 1912, this is one thing where it's like not just the storms, but it was so encrusted with ice that it actually it couldn't maintain buoyancy anymore, and it sank.
Damn.
The Eastland. This one, I'm surprised they didn't make a fucking movie about, because it's still, I think, to this day, it is the most deadly Great Lakes
they
disaster.
will make a movie. It's gonna star The Rock. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, right?
Nicolas Cage will be in it.
Nicolas Cage.
I can't remember what year the Eastland was. It was.
He could be the villain though. The Rock will be the hero.
Yeah, so the Eastland was the right. The Rock will be the one who's like fucking rescuing people from underneath.
Nicolas Cage will
1915.
play Mother Nature.
It's anchored or roped up and loading passengers. It's like a tourist boat in Chicago. So it's like just off of Lake Michigan.
They're taking that thing out in November.
This no, this was in July 1915.
Oh, no shit.
The Eastland. So this 1915 is loading a bunch of passengers. So at one point, it was
in Chicago. Where was it headed to?
It got a capacity to 2,570 passengers. I'm not sure how many were on it. Oh yeah, it said the ship had reached capacity, but many of the passengers were standing up on the decks, and it started to list one way. So they started to try to, pump their ballast tanks to counter it. They're still docked, and then all of a sudden,
what?
Flips right over, right there.
While they were docked?
Right there while they're docked. Right in front of everyone, too. Like, there were still people, like, waiting to get it. There was a...
Ooh, missed that ship.
Actually,
yeah, right?
There was one of these fucking passengers who...
For what? Slowest you be?
Oh, yeah. Here's an interesting tidbit. One of the people who was scheduled to be on the Eastland was 20-year-old George Hallis, an American football player who was delayed leaving for the dock and arrived when the ship had overturned. His name was listed on the list of deceased newspapers, but when fraternity brothers visited his home to send condolences, he was revealed to be unharmed. Hallis went on to become coach and owner of the Chicago Bears and a founding member of the National Football League. And then his friend and future Bears executive Ralph Brazola and his brother were on the Eastland when it capsized, and they were able to get out through a porthole.
Damn.
Crazy fucking small world. But yeah, this whole fucker tipped over, and it was only like 20 foot of water, so it wasn't even like fully sick, but a lot of people were crushed by furniture.
Damn.
Yeah,
moved into
fucked up.
It was kind of a colder day. It wasn't July, but it was like colder, so people went down into the ship already to warm up. And so yeah, I just imagine getting turned over, and then
you said it was 20 feet of water, right?
Yep.
Okay, so with the tip, even the people on deck would have had a hard time swimming up under the ship to get out.
Yeah, like if it's like tipped fully over to where like I don't think any of the deck was still showing. So like if you were kind of under it, like and you didn't go discombobulated, you'd be let alone
how many people died?
835.
Wow.
God damn, dude.
Fucking A, dude.
Yeah. 835 motherfuckers.
That definitely puts a dent in your passenger log.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Not making any money this trip, guys.
Then there was the Daniel J. Morrell. It was a 603-foot freighter in 1966 in Lake Huron. This was considered it was actually 60 years old at the time in 1966.
Damn.
So
it was made in 1906.
Yeah, if you think about it, it was out of date. And they had said it was at one point mothballed, and then it was like retrofitted to go back for a couple more cargo runs. But I guess at this time,
this one, then.
In the 50s and 60s, it wasn't that uncommon to have these like old rust buckets. They just fucking rode them till they died. But anyways, it was made of the same. It had kind of the same steel construction as the fucking Titanic, right? Because it was made in 1906. Those old steel vessels, the steel, like they didn't have the metallurgy technology, so it was super brittle when it got cold water. And the fucker basically cracked in half.
Wow.
Man.
So out on the storm, cracked in half, and then there was this one had
I mean, how desperate was it? I mean, they had to know about
the that's some Dollar Tree fucking
how
ship.
Desperate for those last two runs to go out, and if they knew the ship couldn't handle the cold water like that, I mean,
probably
I don't feel bad
hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars at the time, maybe $1 million. A lot of cargo.
I feel bad for the guys that work the ships, but
anyways, for that one, Dennis Hale was the only survivor. He was actually down taking a nap, and he woke up to this loud cracking sound, which was the ship breaking in fucking half. And apparently the stern, the fucking back end, was like still chugging along for another couple minutes or so after the front broke off. It still somehow remained buoyant. And he woke up in the dark, grabbed a pea coat, and just with the pea coat and his underwear, managed to get onto a life raft and stayed on that for I don't know how long, he started hallucinating, and some guy was on the raft with him and told him, don't eat the ice chips on your coat, because he was, thirsty, and which they say saved his life, because if you try to do that, you actually make your body colder.
Cody,
but he was a big fucking dude, so they said he had to like have a finger amputated, and he had frostbite and stuff. They couldn't take him off the raft when they found him because he was frozen to it. They had to thaw him out.
Wow.
But he, other than like losing parts of his fingers, he survived relatively well. And he kind of woke up with, I guess his first words were like, "Why am I alive?"
Did he eat the guy on the raft with him?
No, there was no second guy on the raft.
I thought you said there was a guy on the raft with him.
No, that was his hallucination when he was like frozen to the raft. He said he saw a man who told him, "Don't eat those ice chips."
Oh, okay.
There was another wreck. I can't remember the name of the boat, but it was a similar story where there was actually 4 crew member who got into a life raft, and then the waves tipped it over. So one of the 4 drowned. There's 3 of them, and then one of the 3 started hallucinating that he saw land and decided to get out and try to swim to shore and drown. And the 2 who stayed though did manage to survive. And then that one was one where it was like it actually made more drama because the insurance company tried to like blame it on, that boat was not properly taken care of. Anyways, it kind of became more of like a weird insurance scandal.
Anything to not pay.
Yeah, right. Oh, the last one here I got is the old GP Griffith. 1850. Back in 1850. Damn. It was a 193-foot twin paddle wheel ferry that was actually on the fucking Great Lakes for a while. It was well known for actually bringing immigrants in from like Germany, England, and Ireland, and bringing them down to the Great Lakes into the Midwest. They were like leaving port, and all of a sudden, fucking fire started, and they tried to turn around and go back to port, but in turning around and like trying to get back to port, and probably because they like turned into the wind, it created even more of a fire, like just like fed the fire.
Yeah,
and then they almost get back to port, and they fucking get beached on a sandbar, and they're stuck. And this is back when the ships were all wood.
Ooh.
It's all wood, and it's been painted and lacquered over multiple times. And so it just is a huge kindling box.
Yep.
So they had listen to these stats, 287 lives were lost. All children died, and all but one woman died. And it's like, yeah, sure. What about women and children first to get off the fucking boat? Because a lot of people tried jumping off the boat and drowned.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know like how many of these immigrants knew how to swim or not, but it's like how did all the dudes survive?
They're probably like, hey, we'll make more,
and punch the chick in the face and like hop on the boat.
Man.
Yeah, right.
We're in a new country. We'll find more women.
Yeah, right. It's like a way they got rid of their old fucking wives and kids.
It's like, finally like get rid of this old fucking bag.
Life. Yeah. And then calling in the life insurance. All right, so that's some fucking disasters on the Great Lakes.
Man.
Fucking Great Lakes.
I never knew that so many ships. I didn't know so many ships had been lost on the Great Lakes. So
they actually, for like the area, like surface area, it is the most dangerous. I believe the most dangerous in the world as far as like most ships lost in a small area of like compared to Bermuda Triangle and stuff like that, like areas of the ocean.
Well, Bermuda Triangle is alien, so I mean, what do you want?
Yeah, right. You just don't hear about the Bermuda Triangle much anymore. It's kind of it's fucking
the aliens
lazy.
Put a hush hush on it.
Yeah, it just doesn't shit in the background, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
It's murdering merchants left and right.
Right. It's probably it's in cahoots with the fucking Grand Canyon. Shit, you know, the Grand Canyon's doing weird shit. It's like goddamn Grand Canyon.
There's probably whole societies down there.
Yeah, there's these geographical areas that just like fuck with humans.
Frozen in time.
Create mythos.
Well, people keep falling off at the fucking Grand Canyon lookout point. I remember that for a time.
Oh God, yeah, those like proposal photos.
When everybody kept falling off the Grand Canyon, I'm like, why does everybody keep falling off the Grand Canyon lookout? It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, dumbass is getting too far out. All right, I'm gonna move along to our what's sexy section. We got Oracle with Switch Emulation.
Oh, did you get
Switch Emulation?
Did you get a stolen copy?
So I did. I was invited by Shigeru Miyamoto to fly out to Tokyo and try out the new Zelda.
You lucky fuck.
Yeah. I mean, how lucky is that?
Show us.
I just had to suck on his tongue. In order to play
just
the game.
like the fucking
just
Dalai
like
Lama.
That's
Dalai Lama.
Yeah, get it right. Don't fucking rag on the Pope. He's got enough problems.
Right.
Pope's like, I didn't say anything about sucking on my tongue.
Yeah.
Get off. Don't put that on me.
Right.
Yeah, don't you put that shit on me, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah. So trying that game out, you can emulate it, but it's not great at this point. But one thing that is great is Breath of the Wild, and I hadn't tried emulating Switch games on my PC yet. So I've got some.
It's the Dolphin, right? Is that what you're using?
No. So I'm actually using Yuzu. This is Simu. Simu is the Wii U emulator. So this has more mods and shit for it. I'm happy with the Yuzu one as well. But yeah, you can. So this is the Switch version, and then you can kind of see, Simu, and let's get to like more complex scenes here. So that's Switch, and then that's what it looks like, on PC. And that's just with like a clarity mod. So one of the things on here
looks awesome on the emulator.
Right. So I'm running it at 4K. Got all kinds of graphical tweaks. You can run it 60 frames per second versus 30 frames per second. There's just a lot more detail, a lot more draw distance. Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool.
Dude, you're gonna make me get what's that little a Steam Deck so I can start emulating Switch games.
Yeah. People emulate on that. Very cool. I'm really impressed with the work that they've done, because I know that they've been working with this, and I think on the Simu version of this, they actually modded in multiplayer in Breath of the Wild.
Oh, really? That's pretty awesome.
So it's like an MMORPG or some shit now, which is incredible. But yeah, pretty cool. Been having a lot of fun. Tears of the Kingdom. It
comes out tonight.
Comes out tonight. It's fucking amazing. Like, I don't know how they managed to make a game that was that much better than Breath of the Wild, which is already considered to be one of the best games ever made. But they did it because they're fucking Nintendo.
And I'm glad because it was supposed to originally be DLC, but they thought it was too big and made it.
I haven't played any of those Zelda games.
Well, you're missing out.
You're missing out, buddy.
Man, fuck Nintendo, man. Fuck.
So here's my thing about I know the thing leaked and it's been on emulation.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Simu. I think Dolphin is the one people are using. A lot of people are using to play it, and I read that the guys who created that are they're disallowing any kind of chat about emulating that on their Discord. So are you afraid that like the Nintendo's going to start coming after the emulators now?
Well,
because they really don't go after the emulators. They come after the people who steal the ROMs and put the ROMs online to get. So
well, that was the fear, and basically they had put in all of this work, and Nintendo didn't give them their blessing on this, but also they didn't go after them and throw them in prison and fine them millions of dollars either. So yeah, they basically squashed all talk about it, because it's like, shut the fuck up. We don't need to be Skyline on this shit. Like, seriously.
Taking a shot, Ashtray?
Yeah.
So yeah. Really cool though. And I mean, you can play this. You don't need like an overly powerful PC to do this, because the Switch is not that powerful. It's actually a pretty fucking...
So is this Where do you get it? This fucking emulator?
So the emulator you can
release.
just download. I'm using a Switch
Secret.
emulator. Simu is the Wii U. I'm using Yuzu. There's Ryu, Jinx. I
It's a
think.
lot of fucking weird.
Yeah, a lot of
acronyms
weird.
I don't
weird,
I mean,
weird
there's a
terms.
lot of emulators.
Yeah, just look up
out
Switch
there.
emulation.
Switch emulators. Yeah, and the one that gets the highest rating, that's the one you use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to set up and shit. Really impressed by this. So
Do you just use your Xbox controller then?
I was using my Xbox controller until I got to a shrine yesterday, and I realized that I do not have motion controls.
The motion
and
controls.
so I grabbed my Pro controller. I've got to use my Pro controller.
Where's my? Oh, here's
Does the Pro one have USB?
Hold on, wait.
It's got Bluetooth and USB. Yeah. But otherwise, the Xbox controller works great for the game.
Man.
Oh, you can't see that. Can't shit.
So funny. Yeah, it's blowing out.
Woo. Yeah. I'm a nerd.
Nerd.
Goddamn right.
All right. Moving
Fucking
along.
child.
Fucking
I'm not a child. I'm an adult
Costanza,
with great team, with great fucking
marine biologist. Oh man, is this the episode? It's a fucking classic.
No, so there's a minor league baseball team in Brooklyn called the Brooklyn Cyclones. They're having a Seinfeld night in August, and actually they're doing a whole Summer of George Seinfeld theme thing.
Oh, really?
But they're giving away that bobblehead there. If you click that link, it's a it is him sitting on.
Yeah, what
Did
link?
I put it in there?
There's no fucking link there.
There's no link in there, buddy.
Motherfuckers.
You
failed
slut.
us.
Ashtray, you fucking did it.
I didn't do shit. You know me.
Dude. You took that shit out of there.
He took it out.
No, I would have just
Fucking
maybe
took it
gave
out,
it a
dude.
funny name.
What's the bobblehead I'm looking for?
It's my episode. I'm fucking railing myself.
George,
I'll see if I can search it.
What the fuck? Hold on, I think I got it.
Is it him riding a fucking
Bobblehead
doll or a shark or
yeah.
some shit?
Yeah,
I think I see.
he's riding a whale.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh, do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the episode, Ash, or if anyone's ever never seen the episode, they have no idea. So here's the plot. So Jerry sees this woman that they used to know a long time ago, and she asks about George. So Jerry makes up a profession for George because he's unemployed at the time, and he says that he's a marine biologist because George once said that he would like to be a marine biologist. So he's walking with this woman, and it just so happens that there's this fucking beached whale. And it's like it can't breathe and shit, right? So
There's
like
something wrong with it.
Yeah, he's like, it's like all of a sudden they're like, "Is anyone here a marine biologist?" And she's like, "Oh, George," and he's like, "Oh shit," So like, I gotta figure it out. So it turns out, Kramer earlier on in the episode was hitting golf balls into the ocean, right?
Yep.
So the end scene is George telling this story about getting blown by the waves up on top of this whale, and he saw an obstruction in the blowhole, and he reached in and pulled it out, and he pulls out this fucking golf ball. Right? That's why he's holding the golf ball. And Kramer just looks at it and goes, "Is that a Titleist?" It's just like, it's cool how it came. It's a very iconic episode. So I think it's cool that it's a bobblehead. That I would love to have that bobblehead, but I'm not going to a Brooklyn Cyclones fucking baseball game in August.
They'll go for good money on eBay, I bet.
Yeah, I saw it earlier. It said it was going for $85 on eBay.
Nice.
I'm sure some people fucking have.
Word. All right. Moving along.
I've got one.
Teddy, you changing yours?
I didn't put it. It's just blank actually. So what do you see?
Yeah, it's blank. You said I got one.
Okay. My son.
I wasn't sure whether Ashtray deleted it.
You probably did, you dirty bastard. My son, he's been more social. My first wife, she was not very social. I was a social one, so I'd if she wanted to meet friends or meet a couple, whatever, she'd send me over. My son, I was hoping he got my socialness, but he does not. He has my wife's. He got his mom's. So he's not very social. He's okay with hanging out with me. He loves hanging out. He hangs out with people more older people than kids his age, and we have a lot of kids around the neighborhood. So we've been riding bikes because he's getting that. He's 9 years old. He's getting to that chubby stage before he starts growing again. And he's got a little pudge right here, and he does not like it.
Burn that shit off.
So he wears his pants like an old man. I'm like, dude, put your pants down. So we've been. I told him, I was like, hey, I'm like, I get it. But a good way to get rid of that is to, you can get rid of it anyway. But you be more active, not sit in and play Fortnite with Daddy. So we've been riding bikes around the subdivision. And the other day we go riding, and the kid across the street is like, hey, he sees Braden get on his bike, so he runs, gets his bike, and then pedals down to the end of the block, gets the other kid. And then we're like 6 deep. The other kid's mom is me, Stephanie, and we're all riding around the neighborhood. And then afterward, my son goes and hangs out with them. And I was like, I've been trying to get him to hang out with the neighborhood kids for so fucking long, and he's finally starting to do it. So and I'm just really excited about that. So
nice.
There we go. And sooner or later they'll start getting them on cigarettes and then drugs and then whores.
Well, it's funny.
He'll
like
be an ass
shooting heroin because you got him out there riding bikes, Daddy.
Well, it's funny. We'd be riding, like my son would see like two kids like riding around. He'd be like, they don't have any parents with them. I'm like, no. I was like, when I was a kid, we didn't have any parents. I got kicked out of the house. I couldn't come back home.
Well, yeah, you were allowed to go out and have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, yeah, just take your phone with you, ride around, and yeah, just be a kid.
That was
like now that you
Mandela
can actually
Barnes.
put a phone on your kid, you can track them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I can't really even comprehend being tracked by my parents.
As a parent, I think it's weird we can put a chip in our dogs, our RFID chip in our dogs to track them, but we can't put one on our kids.
That's called a cell phone.
Well,
every parent friend of mine who's like, yeah, like I can keep track of where they're at.
I mean, my son's 9 has a cell phone just so we can track them.
Yeah, see, there you are.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it's because the watches and things that people were using, they weren't. We bought. I bought like 3 or 4 watches, and they were not very good. So.
Oh, as far as accuracy and stuff.
I mean, yeah, one of the watches I brought, he'd be at the house, and it'd say he was in the middle of the interstate. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's not good. Oh my God.
My baby boy.
You're out there just on the side of the road crying. He's like,
you
what's
got
up,
a
Dad?
gun fucking like going up to different cars and shit.
Right.
Where's my fucking son?
Where's my son?
Yeah, like just start accosting people.
Yeah.
All right, Ashtray, you
all right, moving along to that fucking remember the old Fisher old fish cheaters? God, what was that like?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking fishing tournament in Ohio. This must have been back in it's only 7 months ago. For some reason it felt like it was longer, but
yeah, it did feel like it longer because we're older. Time goes fast.
It was like right around the time when that chess thing was going on with the anal beads.
Anal beads, yeah, the anal cheater.
Which is weird as shit.
I don't even remember that one. Chesty anal beads. Okay.
Anyway, just go.
Yeah, keep going.
They finally got themselves sentenced. I guess that COVID slows that things down, but yeah. So these guys were putting steel, like ball bearings
in the
fish guts, and it was 43-year-old Jacob Runman and 36-year-old Chase Kaminsky. They ended up getting 10 days in jail, a 1.5 years probation, and each ordered to pay big fines. It does not say what kind of fine.
What kind of fines?
Yeah. They
probably got tried under maritime law.
So they initially
Arrested Development.
they initially claimed to be, not guilty, and then they switched their plea to they pled guilty to 1 felony count of cheating and 1 misdemeanor count of illegal animal ownership in exchange for officials dropping the other 2 charges.
What? Okay, so that called bullshit. If they didn't black, then motherfuckers would have been under the jail.
Oh, right. Oh, they'd have been swimming with the fishes.
If they were black, they wouldn't be fishing. I don't want
anybody I fish. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you fish from the railroad tracks where you don't catch anything worth competition.
You ain't out there competing.
Right, but that's my thing. I remember this tournament was for like $50,000, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was like an
I don't
official.
know if it was that much. I think
It was the tournament because I remember talking about it. It was like $50,000.
Yeah, I put the video in there.
They were cheating
right below
on it. It was
there,
a big
Oracle.
tournament, and they had cheated in other tournaments too.
I know,
They
but
were
like,
accused
I mean,
Fishermen at a
I
fishing
get
tournament in
banning them from
Cleveland,
fucking
Ohio,
competition
were
and
just a
kicking
bit
the
upset
shit
to
out of
find
them.
that the first
But
place
like
winners
10 days
were
in prison,
allegedly
dude, for
weighing
cheating
down
on some
fish
fucking
with some
fishing.
strange
What the
stuff.
fuck is? What are we doing here?
Well, that's the thing is these people put big money in. Oh, look at those lead. Those look like steel. Those
Like I said, a
lead.
$50,000 prize. They tried to cheat to win, and they done other tournaments. They did because I remember
I
this about
still don't think it warrants fucking prison.
jail time.
Oh yeah,
No.
man. When there's that kind of money on the line,
paying the money back and fucking, you know what
People-
I'm saying?
people
and
want
being
blood,
banned
man.
from competition.
people want
Hey, look,
blood.
I invest in
Fine.
fishing corporations. I want my dividends.
These
okay?
people invest a lot of money into also their fucking sponsorships for these fishing boats and stuff.
I mean, yeah.
Like, these people take this shit serious.
Don't try justifying this. You're a tranny loving motherfucker. Don't you? I was ripping on trannies last week and then fucking you're getting
This week I'm loving trannies.
no. This
All right,
week you
Ashtray
fucking-
drinking. I'm taking a drink.
Jesus Christ, you guys.
Yeah, Mystic, take a drink.
Alcoholics. I got
Cool your-
water, man. I'm
Cool
like
your
Oracle over here.
tits.
I'm hydrating.
I got water.
I'm imbibing. All right. So, moving on to our fuck what you think. Oracle, incompetent bank.
Yeah. Keep on getting the goddamn closing date on the house pushed back because
that's right.
they don't
I
have
forget
the
you're going
fucking
through that shit.
paperwork because they didn't fucking submit the paperwork properly.
You fucking kidding me?
Wow.
It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is your job, man.
Have they fucked up your interest rate or something?
No, they haven't
your...
fucked up the interest
say.
rate. They're just delaying shit. It's like, what the fuck? We're
So is
giving
the
you
house sitting
everything.
empty?
It's, yeah. I mean, it's,
So, yeah, you can't get into the house yet?
no, we can't get into the goddamn house because they
Man,
won't. It's
that's the whole
fucking
point of buying
stupid,
a house
man.
is getting into
Yeah, to
it.
Right.
get into it. Yeah.
It is fucking dumb.
You're like,
Yeah,
"Look
you
at
don't
that
want to be
house."
buying
I
a house
closed
and
on
being
it.
like, "Hey, we can see it from the road."
Right.
It's like-
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
The
they. I
fucking
mean, I'm
ex-wife
pretty
cheated on me
sure they
right
did that
before
when
we
they
moved
bought
into
it.
the house. It's like, fuck, I owned a house, never got to live in it.
Yeah. It's
Is this,
fucking retarded.
Is
Just-
it near
just
the?
start
Is it
squatting.
near Rapids?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Got Wi-Fi?
You got Wi-Fi.
Got
Of course, it'll have
Wi-Fi.
fucking Wi-Fi.
Just start squatting. man.
That's
You got
the
more
big
right
selling
squatting
point.
as a buyer. So go ahead and do
It's
it.
Oracle's house. It'll have internet access.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry.
It'll have a
Oracle's-
fucking matrix chamber.
It'll have fucking
it.
fiber coming in from 3 different corners of the house.
Yeah.
Right. And by
And the
matrix
last corner is just the
chamber,
sewage.
a VR headset and a bag of mushrooms.
Yeah, right. He's gonna be fucking suspended on one of those orbital things from Lawnmower Man.
How much you want for the mushrooms, bro? Okay.
Oh. All right. Is that all for the
That's
incompetent
it.
bank?
They're fags.
Bitches. Fucking fag bank.
Hey, Bob Huggins said that word and he got fined $1 million. So watch out.
Oh yeah.
Might get canceled.
Hey, we got no sponsors. We're uncancelable.
Right.
Yeah, we're uncanceled.
Cancel.
We can only cancel
Hey,
ourselves.
your tranny friends will come after us, okay? So don't act like.
Unfettered. All right. They already know me. Moving on to Mystic. Twitter.
Oh,
Cyclones.
here's the Cyclones
Oh, I
link.
put the fucking thing in the wrong thing, dude. I'm an
Oh
idiot.
no, no, that.
That's how fucking stupid. I
put the link
thought I put the motherfucker in there, dude. I swear to
You
God.
fucking pothead.
Yeah.
Fucking ripping on me for running.
I mean, right? He rips on me and you
Sloppy
getting
shit.
high as fuck, but he's like,
Ah, well,
shit, man, I put
just
it in the
I'm a
wrong
saint.
thing.
No, the two aren't fucking mutually exclusive. Just because I'm a pothead, I can still rip on you for being one. You can rip on me for being one.
Just don't
Are you
rip
gonna
on
have a
Pope
fucking-
Francis.
You said you have.
I don't know that I
Rip on
really
Pope
have one.
Francis.
You didn't have a fuck what you think.
Keep
You know,
going.
you think about it. We'll skip. Yeah.
Come back
let's
around.
see.
Come back
Go to
Come back
me.
around.
Ashtray. Potholes to fucking nowhere. So the old the road right where I turn off the belt line for work, they have these shitty potholes, right? And you know, when you get ready to repair potholes, they go in, they dig out all the fucking loose shit, all the shitty blacktop that didn't hold from the last year, and then they fill it back in. Well,
do they level it out?
Fucking City of Monona went to all that trouble. They dug all that loose shit out and then didn't fill them in.
Wow.
So they just made the potholes much worse.
Oh, it was like
much worse.
These potholes were like probably like some almost 8 inches deep if you hit them in the wrong spot.
God damn.
And to where it was like, I had to start a fucking Reddit thread being like, what the fuck's going on with this? And then people are like, I knew I'd find this on Reddit. And it's because my boss, we've been bitching about it for the last week. Like, when are they going to fill this in? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, and he fucking hit it, and he's got one of those fucking cars that's got the nice fucking low wall tires.
Oh, that fucked that shit up.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, blew his tire.
Yeah.
And he calls the city, right? City of Monona, and they're like, oh, we're not sure what you're talking about. And
yeah, of course.
He's like, I blew my tire. And like, oh, you're the first one to complain about it. And he's like, what? It's been a week we've been bitching about this. There's no way. Because we drive by it every day. We at least know to be careful. Like, there's going to be people who like, oh, I come to Walmart maybe once a week or two. So they're coming out to fucking Walmart, which is out in that same area. And boom. And sure enough, I posted on Reddit, and 3 or 4 people are like, yep, I fucking blew my tire there 2 days ago. Other people are like, my friend just lost her tire. So one guy was like, my girlfriend blew her tire. We pulled off at the fucking China World buffet. And sure enough, within that time of changing her spare, 2 other cars pulled in with flat tires.
Damn.
So it's like, the city is fucking bullshitting you.
Wow.
Well,
maybe they got a deal with China World Buffet or something.
Someone actually posted that. I think someone in the city council has an or has a tire shop. But yeah, so it started blowing where restaurants around the area were using their Facebook profiles to like bitch at the city. And my boss, put his block on his caller ID, but knows the names of like the mayor and stuff like that, and it's like, do I have to call Mary directly? I'm like, oh no, I'm like, oh, we'll get on it. Here's where you can file a claim. Blah, blah. It's like, I think someone fucked the schedule up or like didn't order the blacktop material or something. It's just like, all right, boss, we cleared these all out. We're ready to fill them up.
We ran a story a couple weeks ago about DPW being down like half of their workforce this year in Milwaukee. So maybe it's the same in Madison. They just don't have the fucking people, because the fucking potholes around here are atrocious also.
It's Monona too, and so like
I think potholes generally are.
It could be.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Wisconsin for the last since fucking Walker has had their roads gone to shit. Even where fucking Robin Voss did a commercial stunt where he rode in the back of an ambulance and like, see how bad this road is. It's like when you got the Republican leadership bitching about it. Anyways, the thing is though, it was like the potholes were bad and they did need to be filled, but they did the work of clearing them out and then didn't fill them. And they're like, well, it's properly marked with
I don't
barrels.
know why. You know what I mean? I don't know why.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like that. I'm just saying one possibility could be.
Oh, it probably was something like a labor shortage, but then it's like
maybe like one crew cleans it out, one crew fills it in, but the fill-in crew is just like 4 weeks behind or some stupid shit. You know what I mean?
So up there, you all have more experience with the potholes being created because the water expanding with its code and everything else. When they fill those up there, do they level them out?
They try to.
Generally, yeah.
Okay, so
a lot of times too, they're at the corner point between like 4 big slabs,
So here, I'm 18 miles south of Nashville, but it's the freeway here is the main thoroughfare for a lot of people. So among bikers, it's a joke every riding season. It's do you try to dodge the potholes or the fill, because they fill them all in. But they generally don't, especially on interstate. They generally don't. They don't, level them out. So the front of the pothole will be like a jump, and the bottom will be kind of like a valley. And so the
Yep.
joke
Yeah, I
about
gotcha.
bifers is, do you when you're doing fucking 70, 80,
Jesus.
when you're doing 70 miles an hour on a turn and you see a pothole coming, do you try to
My
Yeah.
God.
do you try to dodge it, or do you chance it and hope they level it out? And so
Yeah.
Right, or like get
I've
up,
dodged
Let
that
off the
shit.
fucking let off the gas.
get well, or like you get
Gotta
your
do
ass
something.
off the seat and try to ride it like rough railroad tracks.
Yeah, right. Lean into a bitch and just fucking floor it, Teddy.
dude, I've hit a few lean. I'm like, oh my God, that was close.
Yeah, get all
Wow.
wobbly and shit.
Yeah, that was close.
That's scary.
Holy shit. Oh, I get to go home with my family. That's awesome. Okay, let's go 130.
All right. Moving on to Teddy. Goddamn sink.
Goddamn sink. So my sink got clogged up.
Kitchen?
Kitchen sink, yes. So I've got an electric snake that I sent through the main pipe.
Now, do you have
all the way out.
the grinder disposal or no?
I do, yeah, but that's not what got the sink part. I got a double sink, so the main outflow was clogged. So I sent the snake down there, and then I wanted to replace. I saw also that the main U pipe under it was clogged, so I wanted to replace that also. So I've done this a few times. I just go to Home Depot. I get the parts I need. It costs me like $20-$30 to rebuild everything, and I my sink is unclogged. So I go to Home Depot. I take my original shit as a schematic, and I get all the parts I need. And then I get back to the house. Two of the parts. One's a T flange. So it because one sink is connected to the pipe, and the other one's connected to
The knee bone.
the Nebo, the garbage disposal.
The two sinks come together, yeah.
Well, so one's a garbage disposal. I have to have the outflow from the garbage disposal come to the other sink. So I need a T flange right there to catch that shit right there. So I get that T flange. The top is threaded. The left is threaded like I need it to be, but the bottom is also threaded. It needs to be like a male flange to go into the female bottom right there. And I can't find that anywhere. Like anywhere. I went to 2 Home Depots. I went to Lowe's. I can't even find it online. And I did this shit like 10 years ago, and I refuse to believe. Right. So, but also in the process of this, my what do you call it? My garbage disposal broke also.
So do you think it broke when you were taking the parts off?
Yeah, I was like shit. Because what I wanted to do, I was like fine. What I could do is I could wash it in one sink, because I was trying to make it so that both sinks could drain. And I was like, you know what? I'll just make one sink drain, the garbage disposal sink, and then I'll cap off the other sink, and
yeah, just like tape it off for now until you get the part.
Fix that later. But the garbage disposal broke, so then I had to go get a new garbage disposal. And this fucking sink. Oh my fucking God, this fucking sink. I finally found a $30 fix. It's a whole little system that they sold for $30 at Home Depot. It's a flex system where the pipes are not PVC. They're kind of like a hard plastic. But they bend needed to go. The thing is, this is built for a sink. For the bottom of the sink, and where the outlet is to take the water, the dirty water out, has to be 4 to 6 inches. From the bottom of the sink where the the shit comes out of the bottom. My sink, because my first wife decided to get super deep sinks. I have like 2 inches of fucking.
Damn.
So does it make kind of a loop?
It makes like a super sharp loop, but because
which is going to create like its own drain trap.
Because I'm making like a triple trap, which I like shit. So the only way, so I have to unless I find this T piece that I need to create the PVC that I need, I have to either cut the bottom that comes out super short, which I don't. It's fucking sick, man.
You got a picture, or you have the old piece still you're trying to replace?
Oh, I've got the old piece still put together. It's clogged.
You gotta fucking find a plumber.
I just need that one.
I bet you there's a plumbing Facebook group you could put a picture of that on, and they'd be like, here's your part, and they send you a link.
I'm not on Reddit, bro. Like, hop on and.
I'm not saying Reddit, Facebook.
Facebook, really? Yeah.
Facebook. Oh, there's Facebook groups for those kind of shit.
It should have been like a 20-minute job. It has taken me fucking all goddamn day. I'm going to like 4 hardware stores. Oh, I'm like, I just want to blow this sink up and start over. But I want to install a whole new sink.
Just get up there, just fucking
Like
drop trowel
I love
and
my
shit
superhero.
right in your own
I
sink.
do. I
Shit
love
in
the-
your
Blow it
own
up.
sink.
Shit in your own sink. Just
I love
right.
the sinks that she picked out. They're
Teach it a lesson.
very deep. They're awesome. But now that I have to replace the pipe and I can't, and I've done this twice before, but it's not been this hard. And now that I have to do it again, and
Now when you find out what that part is, you're gonna have to buy 5 of them.
if I find this part, I'm buying like 10 of them.
Yeah, because if you do this once a year, that's a lot.
And if I can lower the pipe
watching what
that
you're
goes
putting down
out,
that fucking sink.
if I can
Holy
lower that,
Jesus.
it'd be a lot better. But I can't do that. It's so fucking.
All right, Mystic, what you think?
Nothing. I don't have anything. We're 20 minutes past. And you're just fucking yammering about sinks and shit.
All right.
Yeah, because this sink is bothering me. Fuck you.
Yeah.
God
Right.
I
damn
get it, dude. I get it.
Sink therapy.
Well, go fuck yourself, Teddy Sink. This is the
Right.
Reddit Report.
Pretty fitting.
That's our show. We're gonna be here Wednesday. No, hardly ever Wednesdays. Thursdays, 10 p.m. Central. Make sure to join the conversation at theredeyereport.com or facebook.com/redeyereport. Twitter can go fuck itself. If you like
It
us,
can.
share us, fuck us, we're down for whatever, because I'm the Ashtray.
I'm Morkel.
Dead silence.
I'm Mystic.
Yeah, you better question yourself, motherfucker. And I'm
Right.
Teddy.
Teddy's like, I always go last unless it's my episode.
Hey, look, I don't mind sitting in the back of the bus for our shows. That's all I'm saying.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know, man. I've been talking with you.
Is that some sort of like a racist
Yeah,
thing?
that's pretty fucked up, dude.
Yeah. Fucking Rosa Parks here of the Red Eye Report.
I am not fucking Rosa Parks.
I
Oh,
am the
shit,
Rosa
back to the
Parks of the Red Eye Report.
For freedom. For
Oh, that
freedom.
is hilarious.
And the last word. And that was very racist.
Oh my god.
As your
Holy
white
fuck.
friend, I'm here to give that anecdotal and